I'm Kim, and I did my research on factors which increase racehorse breakdowns. And thanks to Taylor, everyone now has a basic understanding of horse racing. A little bit about me is I'm majoring in animal science with a biology minor, and I've always had an odd fascination with horses. I decided to do my research on racehorses in particular because I've always been a little put off by watching horses go from the picture that you see here to that. A little bit about my research. I hypothesized that different factors increased the rate of breakdown in horses. In particular, I looked at track surface, horse age, race length, white leg markings, and horse anatomy. I hypothesized that different surfaces, ages, and race lengths would increase the rate of breakdown. I also hypothesized that white leg markings would indicate a weakness in that particular leg. And then I thought that horse anatomy might show some different weaknesses in the legs, which would lead to more breakdowns. My rhetorical situation was actually an actual situation from 2012. In it, the New York Racing Association president was asking for groups to do research which would yield factors which were increasing breakdown so that they could fix them. And so I decided to be the Jockey Club's Equine Injury Database chair. My methodology, I ran chi-square analysis on data from the Equine Injury Database on track surface, race length, and horse age. And for horse anatomy, I used book research. I had 2 different books which I used, which went in depth into the skeletal structure of the horse. And for white leg markings, I mostly used the internet. And what I did was I found sources which listed horses which broke a particular leg, such as bloodhorse.com. And then I'd also online find a picture of the horse which showed all 4 legs so you could tell which legs were white. And then just a small sample of what I did is on the bottom there. My results, I found that track surface, age, race length, and white legs did not significantly impact the rate of breakdown in horses. It also has not been increasing unlike it was thought to be. The anatomy, I found that front legs were broken more often than white legs because of the different structure of the horse legs. And left legs were also more often broken than right legs. It was hypothesized that this was because horses always run in a counterclockwise fashion, which puts more pressure on the inside leg. In the end, I recommended further research in different things. Mostly I recommended that more protective measures were researched, particularly in protecting the front legs to help lower the rate of breakdown. Any questions? Yeah.
This is Connor. What are white leg markings? Just like their
White
legs?
leg markings on the horse are basically just as they sound. In this one, you can kind of see in this front leg here, he's got some white on that leg.
Okay.
It's just a lack of pigmentation in that part of the leg.
And that signifies a weakness in that leg somehow?
It was hypothesized that it was, but it was found that it's not a significant difference.
Okay.
This is Joanne. What causes the loss of pigmentation then?
It's just genetics.
Oh, it's just genetic.
Mhm.
Okay.
And for men, they actually lost weight, but for females, they didn't. And then drinking regular soda for a 3-week period increases your overall caloric intake, and there was weight gain in both females and males. And in the King Yang paper, she kind of explains that after consuming glucose, which is found in regular soda, it causes a longer signal depression in the hypothalamus, which kind of keeps you full for longer. So it prevents you from eating more, and this isn't found when consuming aspartame or other artificial sugars in diet soda. So in the long run, it actually causes you to gain weight drinking diet soda. And then dietary sucrose nor aspartame affected the cognitive function of children, which is a good thing because aspartame is almost everything nowadays. And then the last study, regular Coke actually posed a greater threat than diet soda did on teeth, but neither of the levels reached anywhere near enamel demineralization. And so there are a lot of studies still being conducted on aspartame since it is relatively new to the science world, and so there needs to be more studies kind of conducted on the overall effects of diet soda. But based on the research done so far and on the articles that I picked, I recommended regular soda over diet soda. And that's it. Any questions? Yep.
This is Laura. Is there any difference between like drinking like Diet Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper 10, or like Pepsi Next versus Diet Pepsi? Like the ones that have like 10 calories, are they really any better off than the?
Not really. They all just kind of use the same artificial sugars. Some of them will use aspartame, other ones will use other things, but they're basically the same thing. So they kind of have the same effects on the body.
This is Kim. Have you read the article in the New Yorker called The Search for Sweet?
No, I haven't.
You really should, and I can email it to you if you want. It's I've taught it in a class before, but it talks about the origins of these artificial sweeteners, and one was in a lab in, I think, Britain. They were trying to develop a fertilizer, a chemical fertilizer, and the chemist licked his fingers and realized it was sweet. And so that is really one of the origins. I mean, something they were trying to develop fertilizer. So and I've also found that certain aspartame and any artificial sweetener tastes bitter on my tongue.
Yeah, me too.
So it's sort of like cilantro for 30% of people tastes like salt. Or soap, not salt, soapy. I don't know if that tastes soapy to them. But I can't drink diet soda literally or anything with artificial sweeteners because it has a bitter taste.
It has the same effect on me. I don't like diet soda at all.
So anyway, I would be happy to email you that because it's a really interesting piece that puts some of this in perspective, not necessarily from the data and like nutritional study standpoint, but it offers a really interesting narrative about how our society searches for the fix for sugar that won't have any calories in it. So.
Thank you.
This is Joanne. Was 1994 the most recent literature you found on aspartame studies?
Was that really it? Yeah, I think so. Well, that was just on the cognitive function. And then for 2009, that first one, they also talk about aspartame,
Oh, okay.
consumption of aspartame, yeah. Yep.
I had a question on that first study that you talked about. Is it 36% greater and 67% greater for aspartame or for regular?
Aspartame.
Aspartame.
Yep, they just focused on diet soda consumption in that study.
Okay. And then in one of your other points, you said that in the 3-week study, people who drank
Yep.
regular soda did gain weight.
Yeah.
But then you mentioned that in the long run,
Yep.
it can help you not.
Yeah,
gain weight.
exactly.
So can you
So
talk a little bit
basically,
about that?
if you drink diet soda in kind of a shorter amount of time, like this was only 3 weeks, you actually end up losing weight drinking diet soda. But then overall, over time, if you drink it for long periods of time, like in the second study, this was conducted over a year, they actually ended up gaining weight. So I think it's just kind of over time your body makes a difference. Yeah.
This is Janine. Is it because it makes them feel full? Is that
Yeah. So drinking regular sugar, like glucose, it actually causes a longer signal depression in the hypothalamus, and what that does is just keep you full for longer. And aspartame and artificial sugars don't do that to you. So you kind of crave more, get hungrier.
Thank you so much.